Hello, 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 everyone. Let's see who's gonna join us this evening. All right, I'm gonna grab the iPad here and go ahead and share us out with our groups. There we go. Hopefully, all is live. Yep, there we are. Quick and easy. And groups. And VIP and our team. Okay. All right, let's see who's coming to join us. Go ahead. Hey, Miss Sherry, if you're on here, go ahead, say hello so we know you are hanging out with us. And we will get rolling here. Okay. Get this set aside. All right. Hello, 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 everyone. All right. Tonight we are playing with some brand new product coming from our brand new catalog that will be going live May 5th. It is our May to August catalog. So playing with some new stuff. Hey, Miss Kay. Thank you for joining. So glad to see you. So before we get started, I am going to do our quick housekeeping things that we like to get through and talk about our paper pumpkin. We are now in the May subscription period. April should be hitting mailboxes any day now. Mine has not arrived quite yet, but it's due to arrive, I think, this week. So April's on the way. May is now on our radar. You have until May 10th if you want the May kit, which is Sparkling Celebrations. It says create bold celebratory cards, perfect for invitations, congratulations, and special occasions. It makes 9 cards, each of 3 designs, with 9 coordinating envelopes. You're going to receive pre-cut paper pieces with silver foil. Gem embellishments and the coordinating colors will be Blackberry Bliss, Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Melon Mambo, Misty Moonlight, and Night of Navy, and Pumpkin Pie. The ink spot, of course, will be Misty Moonlight. And they do try not to repeat colors for like 12 months. So it's a great way to get a color collection going if you are not into collecting full-size pads. This happens to be one of our new cases. This is one of our ink colors, and we are using our new ink colors tonight as well. The May paper pumpkin will coordinate with the add-on dies, Beautiful Blooms, and those are still available when I last checked. Also want to just make quick mention. Oh, hey, Barbs. Glad to see you over there on YouTube. Thanks for joining. Keep your emails to your ear. We'll be soon announcing a Stampin' Bingo. My friend Cindy and I coming up. More details to come on that, but you'll see that coming through email. Fun stuff. Also, not to forget those March online exclusives that dropped. Some of them things are already hitting the last chance list because, of course, we're making room for new things from May. Product of the month. Every month, Stampin' Up! Does drop a new product of the month. This month happens to be the Eyelet Blooms die. Mine will be here, I think, next week because they haven't shipped it yet. They're like 7 days behind in shipping. And then, of course, once they do ship it, it'll take another 7 days to reach me because I'm on the East Coast. So I believe next week I will receive this, but it was in last week's order. Last week. Might have been the week before. I don't even remember now. But anyway, I do have that coming, but it is a really cool die. It's like a background die, but you can cut out portions and pieces to use in your cards. Last week I did show the Notes of Spring. That is still available if you're interested in that one instead. You do pay $75 for your order, and then you can add that to your order for $5. And I think that is it. This week, my class to go will be going out in the mail. So if you ordered that, by the end of the week, you should be seeing it in your mailboxes. So that will go out this week. Hey, sis. And that's really it. All right. So we are on to the fun new product. So I will pull. This is an entire suite of product, actually, that we're using. It is called the Bloom Boutique suite. So it comes with designer series paper. You get 2 bundles. It's the scalloped blooms and the boutique blossoms. And then, of course, we have these really pretty in color butterflies. That's part of the suite. And we are using all of these today. So the blossoms, they are 2-step stamping. And we all love 2-step stamping. If you don't want to color, you do not have to, because you have the second stamp there to do it for you. But if you would love to color, you absolutely can color in your blossoms and your leaves if you so choose. And of course, we have the coordinating die set. There's also some extra dies that do the textured cuts. We're going to use both tonight, so you can see how that is. But we have a lot of extras that I did not use. And the other thing I was going to show is, I told you maybe last week or the week before, my little tip for keeping track of dies until I get my magnet sheets to put them on. I outline them on my cardboard backing so that I can see what's missing and where things go, because otherwise, if I don't do that, it's really difficult if I have a bunch of dies off the card in use and then I go to put them back. I can't always fit them on there. I can't, it's like putting a puzzle back together, trying to get everything to fit. So it's just easier to go ahead and take a marker and outline. Well, the same thing for our stamps. Now, moving to this new envelope style that Stampin' Up! Has moved to, again, we no longer have that artwork on our acetate. So I flip it over, and while my stamps are still all on the card, I use my marker. It's a permanent marker, and I just outline my stamps. So now I know where everything goes back onto this acetate sheet, and I cover it and put it back in here. And again, no harm, no foul. I can figure out where everything goes. If you don't want to do that, Stampin' Up! Is been trying to put, but as you can see, this one, you can't just line it up and make it fit, because those images are not in the same location. Yes, they are pretty much the right size, but they're not in the same spots. And this is smaller, so you can't even like use this as your guide to put things back on. So just recommend grabbing yourself a permanent marker and drawing on there, and then you're good to go. Hey, sis. All right. So that's my little tip for the day. And then this scalloped blooms, we have these beautiful scalloped circles that I absolutely love. And then we have these other little shapes. And then we have all these great sentiments. So we'll be using these all tonight. And put all this stuff aside. And I'm going to show you the cards we're making tonight. Love these. All right, so first card. This one's pretty much a basic card, only it's just got a little bit of a twist to the layout. The card base is not your average card base. We have our 2 tones going on here, and I'll show you how I did that. But "You're a blessing to me" is our sentiment with our pretty little flowers there. Then we have our double Z fold. This one opens up and it does set nicely. So this one would be a perfect one to send someone that likes to save your cards on their mantle, because it will sit perfectly. And this is using that textured rose die and leaf. And of course, we got our little butterflies there. And we have our designer series paper. And our designer series paper, we do have the one side that is a matte finish, nice, beautiful print. And then the other side of our paper has the gold foiling. I don't know if you can see that. The center of our flowers here are gold foil, and they do catch the light, and they're beautiful. And then our final card, this is a double flap fold. So again, this one opens like so. So you have your inside, and this time I used both sides have the gold foiling, and we used our scalloped circles in just the sentiment thank you. So with that in color ribbon, so we kept this very monochromatic. All right, so let's start with our first card here. You're a blessing to me. And tell me. I did. All right, let me grab some basic white because I did not cut any of that. I apologize for that. Okay. I knew I was forgetting something when I was cutting this. Did I? Feel like did I miss something here? Oh my goodness. All right, I guess I'm good. Okay. I'm losing it. Okay. All right. So for this card, we have our card base. This is the new color, Peaceful Pine. And this is cut 5.5 by 5 1/4. And then on the 5 1/4 side to the top, I did score it 1 inch. So we're going to fold on that score line, and we're just going to use our bone folder to get a nice crisp edge. So that's like so. Then I have here some crisp cantaloupe. This is cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And that is going to fit right inside of our card like so. So for that, I'm actually going to maybe. There we go. We want to make sure that everything's nice and even, and then fold that down, and that gives us our card front. Easy peasy. Next, I have a piece of the Designer Series paper. This. Oh, goodness. Oh. There we go. This is 3 1/4 inches wide by 3 1/4 inches long. So it's a perfect little square here. And let me see which way. This really is not a directional paper, but I think that looks good. And this is literally going to butt up against our Peaceful Pine. And you want to have the 2 equal sides here on the bottom and along the right hand side there. So we're going to go ahead and add their adhesive. And again, you're just going to have like a 1/8 inch border. Just like so. Okay. Loving this set, I gotta tell you. Especially being two-tone or two-step stamping. That always makes it so much more fun. But because we're using photopolymer, I do have my little piercing mat. I've got my basic white here. And I'm using crisp cantaloupe and Fairly Blush for my flowers. And then I have the Peaceful Pine for my leaves. So I'm going to start with my large flower. Where is we have the large flower, but where is the outline to it? Did I leave that over on my desk? Oh my goodness. I did. As well as my leaves. Anything else over here that I need? I guess not. Okay. I left quite a few things over there. Okay. So we're going to start with our crisp cantaloupe. And now these new ink pads, these are the new magnetic. They open up very easily, especially if you open them like a book. They do separate, but they also can stay together. Kind of like a little hinged book. So I'm going to start with my crisp cantaloupe here. And we're going to stamp like so. We can set that aside. All right, now we want the solid stamp. And do I have yes. Scratch paper. There we go. And we're again going to use our crisp cantaloupe. We're going to ink up our solid fill-in piece here. And I'm just going to stamp off. And now we're going to line this up inside our flower. And now we're going to stamp. And this is going to color in our flower with a nice light shade of that crisp cantaloupe. Therefore, it is now colored in without any effort. All right, next, we're going to set that aside. We're done with the crisp cantaloupe. We're going to bring in the Barely Blush. And we're going to do the same thing with our partial bloom here. And we're just going to stamp that nice and crisp. And then we're going to bring in the solid piece. Stamp off. And then fill it in. And again, it's just a kiss of color. And then finally, we have our leaves. And we're going to use... Yeah, it kind of does share. I agree, sis. I actually did have paper, bedroom wallpaper as a girl at home with that floral print. Okay, so now I am going to stamp my leaves over here in the middle, just like that. That's in the full strength. Fairly, yeah, peaceful pine. And then we have the filler piece. Again, going to ink that up. Stamp it off. And then fill in our leaves. Just like so. Okay, so that's that. Can also, while we have that out, let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment, which is "You're a blessing to me." And we can do all of our cutting. So you're a blessing to me. Also done in peaceful pine. All right, let me quickly clean these stamps up. Okay, there's that. Get this out of the way. Set that aside, and we're going to find our ribbon here. I'm using the Crisp Cantaloupe ribbon. This is the new In Color ribbon. It's the bordered ribbon. That's what it's called. And it does. It has a little bit of a stitched border on each side, but it has a silky feel to it. And right now, set these aside. We'll do our die cutting after we get our ribbon on here. So we're going to run that ribbon right through the card here, like so. And then, oops, get our tweezers to act as our bonus hand. So we're just going to run that up the center of that 1-inch border here. And then I want that to run perpendicular to where the ribbon is actually running. And then we pull up our loop. Let's grab our tweezers. We're going to grab that little knot right there. Make our loop. Wrap it around. Pull up another loop here. And then it takes a little bit of fussing with our loops. Get those out of the way. Again, make those a little smaller. There we go. And then we need our snips. There we go. There's our bow. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right. Next, we need to do some cutting. Now I'm going to grab my dies and get them into position. We need this one for our sentiment. Okay. Get some Post-it tape. Okay. Gonna line everything up and get it in position. Here's our leaf. All right, anybody else have snow this morning? Because it was snowing like crazy this morning for us here. I mean, it even coated the grass white. It did melt afterwards, but we did have a white coating this morning. I was not amused. I'm like done with winter. I am ready for spring to be official. It was 75 degrees yesterday and then snowing this morning. So I think Mother Nature has really lost her mind. Okay, there's that. And then this, we want here. You're a blessing to me. Oop. There we go. Okay, we need our baby boss and our plates. Run this through. And now we run this through. Okay. We have all of our die cutting complete. Stop. And our sentiment. Now, as I've said before, if you want printable PDF with full measurements and instructions and all the product used, definitely visit my blog tomorrow morning or check your inbox if you are on my mailing list. And I do mail those out every Monday morning. If you're not on my email list, you can, of course, sign up. It is in the description of this video. And you will, again, as long as you do it before tomorrow morning, you will receive these instructions for all 3 of these cards tomorrow morning because they will go out. Okay, so for this, I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to that flower. And that's just going to go on right about there. Looks good. This one is going to get a couple of dimensionals. And that one is going to go about like so. And then for our little leaves here, I do want these little pieces. You could certainly use mini dimensionals for this, but these ones are just about gone, and I always use up my border bits. So might as well start using the border bits now. All right, and then this just tucks in like so. And then we have our Your Blessing to Me. And I'm going to do 3 dimensionals. And that is going to go on just like that. And then, what did I do with the butterflies? We have these in color butterflies. These are 2026, 2028 in color butterflies. And they are part of the suite. And I'm going to use one of these pretty Peaceful Pine and Crisp Cantaloupe. And a tiny Crisp Cantaloupe right here. And there is our first card. Okay, moving on. We are on to card number 2, which is our double Z fold. And for this card, or it's actually an accordion Z fold. It's not even a double Z fold. It's an accordion Z fold. We're going to use our Crisp Cantaloupe. It's our card base. And this measures 5.5 by 11. And we are going to fold on our score lines. And I do have it scored at 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and then 7 inches are the score lines. So on the 7-inch one, I'm going to fold over. And we're going to fold back on the 5 1/4. And then we're going to fold forward on the 3.5. And then back again on the 1 3/4. And that's how we get our accordion fold. Like so. Next, I have a piece of basic white. This measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And before we set this on the inside, we're going to do a little stamping. So I'm going to bring in my Peaceful Pine. And I want Happy Birthday. And where's my, let's bring in our cushion here. We'll just get a nicer image if we use it. So we have Happy Birthday. And there's that. Then I have here the outline of these little buds. And I'm going to ink them up in the same Peaceful Pine. And we're going to stamp that. So now I can cover that back up. Scrap paper here. So again, we'll stamp off, but we're going to bring in Crisp Cantaloupe again. That's the leaf. So we're going to ink up our little buds in the Crisp Cantaloupe. Stamp them off. And there's our little buds. And then Peaceful Pine for the leaf. Stamped off. And there's our leaf. Oh, I'm just glad you like it, Miss Kay. Okay. So now we can go ahead and add this to the inside of our card. So we can go ahead. And this becomes our inside piece. There's our Happy Birthday. Then I have 4 pieces of Designer Series paper, each measuring 1.5 by 5 1/4. And I have this pattern with the Peaceful Pine. The other side is this beautiful hydrangea hue, which I'm really loving, but we're using this floral pattern. And this also has like a wallpapery feel to me. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our adhesive. And we're going to add this to all of our panels. So this inside panel here. And that folds down like so. We have another. Time to switch out. Okay, so this just sits on these little pins in here like so. Easy to switch out. That snaps right back on like that. Got adhesive all over everything. All right, and now get it started, and it just rolls on. And then this goes onto this panel here. Oop. Then you need another panel. What's happening here? Uh-oh. Sorry about this. There's a great big goober on here, and I think it's causing a problem. Hopefully. All right, that's not going to work. Okay. I think we have a defective adhesive. So we will switch to Seal Plus. All right. Technical difficulties, folks. Okay, there we are. We're cooking with gas now. Okay, so that one, and now our final panel goes on here. There we go. So there's the start. Next, we have another piece of, I got adhesive all over me now. Crisp cantaloupe. This is 3 inches by 6 inches, and it's scored at 3 inches. So we're just going to go ahead and fold on that score line. And using our bone folder, press that out. So we have a nice crisp edge. And for the inside, or I should say backside, I have a piece of designer series paper that's 2 3/4 inches square. And that's going to adhere to this back side, like so. So we're going to go ahead and add our adhesive. like so. And then for the front, I have a piece of basic white that's also 2 3/4 inches square. So we're going to go ahead and add our adhesive to this as well. And like that. All right. Next, I'm just going to add adhesive to just the ends on both sides of this. Now, I want to see where this is going to. I want to get this semi-centered. That looks pretty good. And that adds our little focal area to our card. All right. Now, all we got to do is do our die cutting. And I have just a little scrap piece of the peaceful pine and the crisp cantaloupe. And my dies here. We're going to use this little rose and this little leaf. We're going to bring back our baby boss. We need our plates here. Run that through. And we need our flower. Well, thank you, Barb. Thank you, sis. I think everybody's going to be very happy with the new catalog because it's got some gorgeous options in there. Okay, so now we just need a few dimensionals. I'll do one there. And we're going to put that right like so. And then for our leaves, just going to do a little bit of adhesive. And that is going to go down like so. And then again, we're going to bring in these pretty little butterflies. All right. So for this one, I used 1, go. And then we're going to do clear large one and the peaceful pine. And that finishes card number 2. And like I said, what's nice about it is it does set very nicely, so your recipient can display it. All right, we're on to our last card already. And this one's quick and easy as well, even though it is a fun fold. All right. That is our thank you card. And again, it's our double flap. So for this one, we're using Hydrangea Hue for our card base. And it's 5.5 by 7 1/4. So 5.5 by 7 1/4. And we are going to score it at 3 inches. So the 3-inch score line, we're going to fold, and we're going to burnish that with our phone folder. And that's what's going to give us the start of our card base. The second piece of Hydrangea Hue measures 4 1/4 inches square. And then we're going to score that at 1 inch. And again, we're going to fold on that score line and burnish it with our phone folder. Now, I'm going to be using my Seal Plus, but I would recommend definitely using, oh, thanks, Kay. Glad you're liking the fun folds. You're definitely going to want to use like a tear tape. You want a really strong adhesive for this piece because this is the part, the mechanism that's going to get the most use because it's going to be opening, you know, whoever's reading the card, it's going to get a lot of opening action. So definitely recommend tearing tape, but I am, for the speed of this video, going to use my trusty Seal Plus. So we're just going to run that down. And then keeping that closed like so, I am going to look for the center, or at best. I mean, they're only eyeballing this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to try for the center from top to bottom to add our flap. And this looks pretty good. So we're just going to set that down right there. Now, I also have a piece of basic white that's 4 by 5 1/4, and that is going to hide that flap that you just put down. We're going to go ahead and add our adhesive to this panel. So this becomes the inside of our card, and you're never going to notice that that flap was inserted in there. Just like so. So now that hides that spot, and that folds like so. Okay, next I have some Designer Series paper pieces. I have this one. This measures 3 inches by 4 inches, And this is going to layer onto our outside flap. Just going to go ahead and our adhesive here. Let's put this like this. Maybe I can see better. Everything's starting to blend. There we go. Love this paper. So pretty. All right, and then we have this panel that's going to be covered with this piece of DSP that's 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And it's just the back side of this pretty panel that we used earlier. And you'll notice that this side does have the gold foiling. That is so pretty. Went out a little crooked. Let's see if we can't. If you huff and you puff, you can undo your adhesive. There we go. That looks better. Okay. Next, I have 2 pieces of scrap cardstock. I have a hydrangea hue and I have some basic white. Hydrangea hue, we're going to die cut with the larger scalloped circle. So we're gonna grab our big boss or baby boss. Oh, no big bosses here. We just have our baby boss. There's that stitched. Oops. And we're going to go ahead and die cut the smaller one. These back on the magnet. Okay. We want our little cushion back here. We have our thank you. And then we need our hydrangea hue ink pad. I'll go ahead and ink thank you up in hydrangea hue. And stamp our thank you. Adhesive. And we're going to add that to the center of our hydrangea hue scalloped circle. Then we need some dimensionals. Peel the backings away. This goes onto the front of our card flap like so. Next, we need our hydrangea hue ribbon. The same border ribbon that we were using, only this time it's in the hydrangea hue color. And we're just going to go ahead and tie a bow. And this one does take a little bit of fussing, so we don't want it to be too big. But you want it to be tight. That looks pretty good, actually. There we go. Then we're going to trim our ends. And we need a glue dot. All right, there we go. And that is going to go right there, like so. Then to finish it, we have our pretty little butterflies. And we're going to take one of these and a couple of the little ones. And there is card number 3. All right, we'll do a real quick recap. So there's our pretty hydrangea hue. This is our crisp cantaloupe, new in color. And here is our peaceful pine and pineapple or crisp cantaloupe together. So I like this hydrangea as well. Well, this is all I have for you, ladies. I do appreciate you for coming to hang out, and I really hope you fell in love with the Bloom Boutique. Oh, you're absolutely welcome, Miss Kay. I am so glad you enjoyed them. And I do, like you said, hope it inspired you to check out the Bloom Boutique. If you received your catalogs, it is one of the first suites. I think it is the first suite in the catalog. So if you want to take a look at that and see what's included in it, hopefully this was something that inspired you. Well, thanks, sis. All right, ladies, this is all I have for you for this evening. And again, as always, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you who spend your Sunday evenings with me. Again, watch your mailboxes tomorrow. If you are on my mailing list, you will get the full PDF instructions for these cards. It includes product list as well as measurements and instructions for putting these cards together. So once this catalog goes live and you're able to get your hands on this product, you can certainly recreate all of these or certainly use what you have on hand. In the meantime, have a fabulous rest of your evening and an even better week ahead. Bye for now, guys. And again, thanks so much.